Hello. Oh, I still got my earphones on, which I don't need. All right. Yesterday we left off with an ESP32 that was able to connect to OBS, connect to the Wi-Fi and connect to OBS, and I got a accept key mismatch. So when using the WebSocket protocol, you've got this exchange that happens at the beginning, the handshake. You send a key, and then you get something back, which is going to be the key concatenated with a magic string, which is then encrypted as with the SHA-1 algorithm, and then base 64. So it looks like my calculation of it is not correct. And it's funny because that's the only area of the code base that we actually changed in its logic. So let's have a look. First, I need to remember to do, well, actually, it's at the top level. OPT, expressive, and export. And then do the same right here. I may actually put that in my makefile since I'm here. I don't have a makefile. Let's just not do it then. So yeah, right. So let's go not here. Let's go to OBS obs.c and accept key mismatch. So let's actually play with it. idf.py monitor. Now because it restarted, I should be able to get some logs. See, handling, and then I get handshake sent followed by accept key mismatch shutting down. And if I go to OBS and I use the WebSocket server settings, well, I should see something here actually, and I'm not, so I'm not too sure unless I need to keep it open and retry. It's not showing it there. So I need to double check that I'm going to the right place. Let's see if I can have the view current log. Oh, there you go. WebSocket client on close. So 19, I think 19 is this is end of file. Yeah, I'm not too sure actually. Let's see. I mean, it should be cycling through it, so I should see more. But see here it says return from main. I wonder if when you do a monitor, it also sends reset, which would then restart it. Let me try to clear it and try again. And have a look. Yeah, so I am getting, okay. Right, I wanted to make sure that my stuff is still correct. Right, so now I'm disconnected. So the key is a mismatch, and the idea is we calculate the accept key and we compare it with the header value. So what we can do here is a const char star accept key equals, and we're going to grab this. The other solution is that the key we're sending and the one we're comparing with wouldn't be correct, but I don't think that's the case. ESP log I tag. So I'm going to get used to using ESP that way. And we've got two strings. So there's one which is a legitimately null terminated string, which actually may be the problem. Like if actually this returns a null terminated string, which I don't know if the other one did, but we'll see. So this is going to be accept key. So calc followed by expected and point star s. Don't need a line for that. And we have accept key and header value length, header value. Let's try that. So I need to do build. Okay, so it is a bit strict in its oh, right, because it's okay. Link. Okay, flash, and then we'll see where that goes. So once we have that working, we can try to, you know, it boots and it just force switching to maybe like the code scene, which is a safe one to switch. And then I can switch to one that is not the code one. And if it does it without me touching anything, then it means that it works. After that, we're going to look in this place to find different inputs that we can wire up and then see if we can start getting, you know, on input, send this thing. So, monitor. Now I'm not expecting it to work because I'm just logging now. Right, so I'm getting something that is garbageable and expect seems to be correct. So let's see if I'm doing something wrong in the res.c. I could ignore validation, but I'm actually interested in see how I can make it work. So concatenated, I concatenated 2, so that should be fine. Now this is the SHA-1, and it does the, I wonder if the casting to unsigned from signed, not really, it shouldn't cause an issue. Then I write to digest, and then I do base64 encode. I don't know why I'm expecting. Let's just print the, I'm going to print that for this one, I'm not going to bother. Let's just print the digest. That should be 20, and digest. So this, it's annoying that I can't get the LSP is still kind of fucking around with all this. All right, let's start on the build, and while it builds, we can try to figure it out. I mean, I really need to figure out if it's a if it's the SHA-1 that's an issue, if it's the base64 that's an issue, and then yeah, figure out. Because yeah, it is quite widely different. Let's have a look. Because then I can, I forgot to print the input. The digest may be this, like it's, you know, it is a SHA-1, so it doesn't really matter. But what I actually would need there is the concatenated first. So I need the input, and this is going to be concatenated. And this one is strlen key plus strlen magic. Let's try that. Build. Flash. There's one thing I was looking at. That's a mouse. That's a fan. I was wondering if I had an audio jack somewhere that I could cut up. I think I had one. No, this is just oh, but this cable doesn't even work anyways. This is from a toy that stopped working, and I just had to change that cable. Okay, so I should be able to then get this and then do SHA-1 online. Right, so I think that's where the issue is. It's not necessarily doing the right thing. yeah, regardless of what I do, it's still, yeah, so base 64 is correct, but I don't really want the hex. I want the raw one. It doesn't really show me that. That's kind of annoying. It's going to show me the hex again. Can I do this? I mean, it's not stopping me. It is stopping me now. I just wish they would. I mean, I guess I can't even check it myself, but these are just the values and check. Okay, so I do kind of need to do this and then say digest as 0, right? It's a bit silly, but it'll give me the first few numbers and then see if that's correct. The thing is, if I have garbage and I give it to base 64, it should seal base 64 8. So I think it might be base 64 that's causing the issue. I've got encoded length, out length, and I've got output, encoded length. This is mallocked. And I've got out length and then digest. I have to see if I'm doing something wrong. So F89181 AF, F89181. Okay, so it seems like my my thing is correct. It could be the unsigned that's causing an issue. I don't know if this. I'm gonna have to unfortunately look up the signature because I can't have it locally. Unsigned chart destination length. What's OLN? Number of bytes written. Oh, it tells me how much it was written. Then source and source length. I think that's what I have. Yeah, destination length. And it is an unsigned char. And I'm supposed to get a const unsigned char. And here's unsigned char digest, and it's written to it, so it's correct. And I'm const unsigned char star. And what I got back was this garbage. I'm going to put it there so I can also see it a bit better. I kind of want to see outline as well. I'm also going to put encoded len. Don't think that's going to matter all that much, but yeah, I mean, if that doesn't work, long unsigned int encoded length uint32t. Oh, outline is size t, so I think I can do zu. D expect int. Oh, I don't even know how to do this, because usually they don't complain. Oh wait, I'm doing the wrong thing, I'm not. No, outline is the second one, and this one is Can you do this? Expect size 2 by uint 8. Okay, so this is alright. Let's just learn. That's what happens when you rely on tools and then you forget. Much better. Precision, length modifier. So Z is this. I unsigned int. Okay, so it's literally just U. No. So unsigned int is not uint32t. Long unsigned int. Octal, unsigned decimals, unsigned hexadecimals. So it's going to be a L maybe. Ah, there you go. A following integer conversion corresponds to a long or unsigned long argument. Okay. Right, so it's just now I know. Now I've learned one more thing. It'd be annoying, but all right. Let's get the values and then see what we get. Oh, I hope I don't spend hours on this. I'm pretty sure that I already spent, yeah, at least 20 minutes on this. So let's just figure out this base 64 issue. I might just like give it like a known input and see if it base 64 encodes the same way, just to see, because I feel like it's the base 64. So first of all, I got a 28 and a 29. And I get the same garbage. And I put the encoded length first. So this one says 28 and the out length is 29. So seemingly I'm not doing the right thing. I guess the other thing is that I'm not necessarily returning a I am mallocing it, but I'm not doing the right thing there. The thing is, I know for a fact that a 20 byte long thing is going to be a specific size. Base 64 calculate, base 64 encoder. I'm just going to do that, right? I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just double that. And now we have, how many characters do we have? (28). But it tries to write 29 because the null terminating character. This is just doing null terminating character, so I don't need to worry about that. So that means that here I should be able to do this and just do output. And let's see if this plays well. So it looks like it embed TLS base 64 encode tries to create a C string, a null terminated string. Okay. Feels like a Friday today. Now, I'm not really expecting anything new here. Oh, it worked. I literally just need to change that. So it said hello and identified. What does yeah, look at that, identified. Okay, so hello identified and then nothing else. Obviously I'm not sending anything else, so it was literally a question of like, I didn't have enough space, so it just did something weird. I really don't know what happened there. Anyways, this seems to work now, and I can remove those logs as well as this one. Now the last thing is, I commented out this here, saying if it's identified, you know, it was supposed to do nothing, but I didn't have the scene name. The scene name is going to be code. No, the scene name is going to be chat. And now we can do build. Failed. Ah, of course. Flash. And then we're going to go to monitor very quickly, and then let's see if OBS changes. Oh, right, ESP32 driven OBS scene changer. We'll stop it, and hopefully it's just not gonna do it non-stop now. Like, I think that once it's finished, it just doesn't start again. It's only if I do monitor, which I think resets it and starts it again. Because I think the app is just a task and it finishes. Like, it has a whole OS on it. So now what I would like to have is just button, right? But I want to first go ESP32 C3 datasheet. I'm gonna start with that. And I want to see what type of IO it has. Pins, analog pins. Well, actually I don't really need analog pins, to be honest. And one of them is a crystal. Let's try that one. That's the mini. That's a very small ESP32. Right, I got something that looks a bit more like this. The problem is I don't necessarily need, I mean, I have numbers on there. I actually have the documentation for it. Oh, that's the DevKit M1. I think that's literally what I have. I'm just gonna take it out of where it is and plug it quickly. Just don't want to break it. I mean, I got another one if I do. Okay. Yeah, that's the M1, DevKit M1. That's not going to focus, is it? Not going to see it. It doesn't matter. So, I'm going to put myself back on the breadboard. I actually realized that it's not really centered. There's always one. Oh no, it is centered. Okay. Plug it in. I'll source the power from there. Now, if I plug it in, it's going to start it again. And it just changed. That was pretty fast though this time. It just changed it pretty fast. So I need to remember that I need to be careful, because every time I start this, it's going to change the scene. So that's M1, that's great. And if there's a picture, there you go. So GPIO 0, for example, is interesting. Okay. Next, let's go back to maybe here. Search documentation. GPIO. Nothing. Oh, searching. When I see something like this UI, I just see Python is a lot of the Python doc is that, and I think it's using Sphinx, which I think is probably just there you go. See PyPy, Conda, so it's just like a Python thing, and it's still searching. So I don't think I'm gonna use this. ESP32, no, ESP IDF GPIO. There you go. That's a lot of GPIOs. Bum, 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 bum. Sure. IO configuration. I also need to see if I need to do a pull down resistor. Okay, GPIO driver offer a dump function, GPIO dump IO configuration to show the current configuration of IO, such as pull up, pull down, input, output, enable pin mapping, but it doesn't about how to dump the configuration. Sure, let's just do that. Why not? Let's just play with that. Hello world main. I'm gonna have my main function down here, and right before I init anything, I'm gonna do this. And 26, 4, 18, and 26 is mapped to 4, 18, 26. Okay, so that's great. Now let's see, which one would I want to use first? Actually, let's see the table. Strapping in, SPI, I just want a GPIO that's just, this is RXTX, I don't want to touch that. 18 seems to be like a safe thing to start with, because it doesn't have an AGC on it, which I don't need for now. So I think I'm going to do with 18. The only thing is, I don't know if some of them have internal pull up or pull down resistors. It's going to fail because I probably need some kind of header, which I don't know which one it is, and I did the wrong thing again. It's not going to tell me, is it? SOC GPIO struct. Does it autocomplete my my stuff there? No. I don't know why yesterday it started like autocompleting some stuff, but not the rest, and then like I'm interested in this one. It just doesn't tell me where, like which header file am I supposed to find? Only available at 5.1, Disney is the 5.1 branch. Okay, great. API reference could be a good. Is it going to be the same page that I had already? OBS is okay. It's here. It's still not telling me like which header am I supposed to find to use. Wow, why is it so hard? Driver RTC IO. Is it a dash now? Let's see menu config. Maybe the IO is not enabled. Component, not really. Compiler. Bootloader config, maybe it's in there. Oh, GPIO, ESP driver GPIO configuration. Yes. Place GPIO question. That's not really what I want. Event loop, which I probably need for some other stuff. ESP ROM, free RTOS. Yeah. So I'm not necessarily seeing anything there. Where is it? Here. GPIO dump IO configuration. GPIO dump IO configuration. Is this the correct one? This is what I find a bit annoying. That you can't find stuff Let's see if an AI can give me an answer. Oh, this is not loading, or it's taking a while. Okay. Where is the header for... I got a faster inference now and a bigger context because I swapped some stuff. Linux GPIO driver. Driver GPIO. I did one menu config and now it's redoing everything. Okay, so driver GPIO provided by the ESP driver GPIO component. Okay, so I just need to add it to my CMake list of main. ESP driver GPIO. Okay. So why would I, like, the only way for me to get there was to find it from like an AI and then Googling the answer, which is a bit sad. Okay, so this worked. Flash, and then I should get the dump for that pin. Where's 18 on here? I don't know if I have an 18 here. They're so hard to see. Seriously. Got 8, I got RX, TX. I got 18 and 19. Okay, I get an 18 there. Pull up 0, pull down 0, drive cap, input, output, open drain. Okay. So what I want to do is find one that has a pull up or a pull down and just do a direct connect of the button so I don't have to worry about it. So which, and if I'm going to send it to GND, I should have a pull down. So which ESP32 pin has internal pull? Let's do pull up, why not? I'm not gonna read this. GPIO D2 supports both internal pull up and pull down resistors. But does that mean that it is... Oh, I've got a bunch of stuff there. Header block. 22 programmable GPIOs. Yeah, so 18 and 19 is where I found them on my board. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. GPIO state. Oh, there you go. So 18 and 19 is ID, UPU. ID internal disable after reset. ID, UPU. PU pull up external. Pull up. What about UPU? UPU, USB weak pull up. So I'm not going to use those. I think IE, input enable after reset, weak pull up, 7 as a pull up. Alright, I'm just going to ignore all that and just basically have a external pull up or pull down resistor. So let me see if my logic is correct. If I get a pin and I directly short it with ground, I should actually, after the button, have a resistor between ground and well, actually I should have a resistor between pin and the ground. Okay, I don't know. Button wiring Arduino. It's gonna say for Arduino. Let me check. This phone has been making little notifications. I don't know why. Is it just gonna say thermal, finish setup this, USB, try a new way to do this, audio settings. Okay, so it's just a bunch of bullshit. So there's a resistor there, and you basically go up down across the resistance. Yeah, because this one has internal pull-up. Am I sure I can't find one with internal pull-up? I mean, reset has pull-up, but I'm not going to wire myself to reset. And IE is input enable after reset. Yeah, I'll just do something. So, let me get some components first. Got a bunch of stuff here, which is going to be at least I have a few buttons, so I can play with those. And I should have resistors in there, but I don't see any. Oh, I've got some cool stuff. I've got an Arduino Pro Mini in here, and I've got a programmer. No, it's not a programmer. I think it's literally just a USB to serial. That I forgot about. Okay. Don't have resistors in here. They're probably out in this box there that I don't want to look into. But I have a drawer here with something like this, right? And to be honest, I don't really care about the sizing of the resistor. I mean, surely it's big enough. I've got a whole bunch of these. Right. So let me look at this and understand it before I do anything. I want to get my 5 volts, which I don't even know if this runs on 5, to be honest. It probably runs on 3.3. There's a 5 as well. I don't know if I can send 5 to it, but it says it's 5 volt. 5 volt on one side of the resistor, which luck would have it has the exact same colors as the one on the picture. And then the resistor goes to a button and also to I'm not too sure I understand this fully because well, first of all, I don't even know which side my button. These would not be connected. It doesn't really show me which side of the button is connected there. I want to see the circuit, not the this is what I want. Okay. And this one does not have the resistor that I'm looking for. But I can recreate that quite easily because I basically have a button between a pin and ground, and from the same place where the pin is, the resistor, there's a software controlled pull up, but I can go straight to a pull up to 5. Okay, that should be easy. I do want to figure out actually I can figure out with a no, I'll figure out with my multimeter. I just need to do this. I don't know if I can legit go through. Okay. Okay. So each side of the button is where it's not across, it's on the side. I might need this later, so I'm going to keep it here. So basically I'm going to have one to ground, which doesn't exist yet, but I'm going to create it like this. Now I've got a ground. I should probably just disconnect this first. And I'm going to have a ground to the button. And I actually don't remember if the button works across. So if I just try in diagonal, then I got nothing, and it works across. So bum 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 bum. Now, what did I say? I want then one of them that goes from here to a pin, which I was gonna choose 18, and I think I might just choose 18 to be honest, just not to be confused. 18 is right here, okay. And then on the same 18, I need to go to a resistor that I don't know where I put it, so that's going to be in the same place there. And that resistor needs to then go to your 5.5, which is going to be right there, which doesn't exist yet. I'm going to create it there. Now I don't know if I should go 5 because ESP32 GPIO 5 volt or 3 volt 3. .3 GPIO pin. I want to go 3.3 to start with. Okay, now I'm going to plug it in, and obviously when I plug it in, it's going to switch the scene. Let's look at it again. Oh, it may have done it ages ago and no one could have seen anything. I may have to just change the code to say code. Oh, I did it when I did this. It's going to do it again, isn't it? Let me just quickly change this to code. I mean, it hasn't blown up yet, so let's do build. Okay, hasn't changed it, but I may have been on the wrong view for a while. And when I click, it doesn't seem to do anything. So I'm gonna monitor it twice. So I'm gonna flash. I'm gonna monitor open, and actually I realized that I need to change to. Oh no, I'm already doing 18. I'm gonna have it like open, then I'm gonna press the button and then restart, and if that changed, I know it changed. But then from there, I want to figure out if is there something integrated with the event loop where I can get notified of those changes with maybe even an event group, or do I need to create my own loop? We'll see. So this monitor. Now it says input N, output N, open drain 0, func cell, slip N, pull up, pull down, drive cap. That's just the config, so I actually don't know if that's going to be the full thing. So if I click and start it, I'm not seeing much. So let's just figure out how to do it. Okay, IO configuration. A simple GPIO input to read the level on a pin, or peripheral signal input output. IDF peripheral drivers always take care of the necessary IO configuration that needs to be applied onto the pins so that they can be used as the peripheral signal input output. Okay, this means the user usually don't need to be responsible for configuring the IOs as simple input or output. GPIO config is all-in-one API that can be used to configure IO mode, internal pull-up, pull-down resistors for pins. Okay, great. In some applications, an IO pin can serve dual purposes. For example, the IO which outputs a let's say PWM signal can also act as a GPIO input to generate interrupts or GPIO eSIM events. Okay, let's check the current configuration. All IO you can say valid GPIO mask, so you could have just done all that. Application example, generate GPIO configuration to generate pulses and use it with interruption. Okay, I could have just read this and realized that it's just driver GPIO and everything is actually listed here for me. GPIO config, GPIO reset pin, okay. Let's see what this does. So, this test shows the code to configure GPIO and them. So GPIO output 0, output GPIO ID 0, pulled up interrupt from rising edge and falling edge, interrupt from rising edge. Note you can check the default GPIO to be used in menu config as the IOs can be changed. You can check the default GPIO pins to be used in the menu config. Okay, that's interesting. Connect GPIO output IO 0 with GPIO input. Okay, so you just connect them. You generate the pulse on one and you trigger on the other one. Okay. I don't know where this config GPIO output comes from. I wonder if it's, as they said, config GPIO output could be in menu config. Oh, look at that, 18 and 19. I want to have a look at menu config again, because I want to see if there is more configuration can be done. Is it component? But in GPIO configuration, I'm not seeing more than that. Hardware settings. No, let's read more. ISR, so it's going to be interrupt. Q send from ISR. Okay, IO configuration, interrupt type, disable, mode output. Then there's another one, positive edge, pin bit mask, GPIO input pin cell. I'm not sure what that means. Configure input. Oh, you can do a pull up enable. The only thing is I don't really know, like input IO 0, GPIO input IO 0. I don't really know this, like what's config GPIO output 0? Oh, this one is actually, if we highlight, open the SDK file without going through the tedious config server. I was using my own kind of hobby, so U1 board which has an LED on GPIO 18, so I modified the SDK file accordingly. Do I have an LED on 18? App main starts with setting up GPIO as outputs. Note that GPIO output pin cell is the OR of the two GPIO values, seeing as they are both set to output. Is this what I was reading? GPIO input cell. But I'm not seeing the other numbers. Like I'm not seeing anything in there that says which one is used. I guess GPIO input cell. Ah, okay. IO 0 and IO 1. I think I'm just gonna config it myself. Oh, config probably is something you just set through menu config. Oh, menu config of this project. Okay, never mind. Okay, let's get started then. So IO config is a GPIO config T. So let's write some code now. I'm gonna have my main here, and here I'm gonna have static void configure GPIO. Okay, GPIO config T IO conf. Okay, GPIO config T IO conf. Okay, and I've got interrupt type. So IO conf.itr type equals, is it ITR ENTR type? ENTR type. GPIO GPIO INTR pos neg edge. I want to do it on the negative edge. Then I got pin bit mask, IO conf, pin bit mask, and then there's this one U thing somewhere, right there. 1 ULL 18, and I'm going to do define button pin 1 ULL 18. That way I can do button pin. Okay, mode input IO conf dot mode equals GPI mode input. Okay, and then I'm gonna enable the pull up. So IO conf dot pull up en equals GPIO pull up enable. A bit long. Followed by GPIO config IO conf, probably a pointer, and that's it. Now set interrupt type. So change GPIO interrupt type for one pin. I'm not sure if I need that. And then there's a queue to handle the events. You create the queue, you start the GPIO task, okay, and then you install the ISR service, you add a handler for input 0 with the ISR handler, while 1 v task delay GPIO set level. So do you need a busy wait there? I think that if I don't use the queue, but I do need the GPIO install ISR service, I think. With ESP ENTR flag default. I don't know if I need to do, so GPIO ISR handler add is a good one. So GPIO ISR handler add with the pin, so button pin, and then GPIO ISR handler, I like the name, and then I'll just give it some data, null at the moment. Or to be honest, I'm probably gonna need the struct OBS client star client, and just give the client, which means here I can say configure GPIO and client. Now the client does the client exist somewhere? OBS client. Okay. All right, and then the other thing that I'm missing, obviously, there's going to be static void GPIO ISR handler, which I suspect is going to get me a void star data and then maybe something else. What is the handler? I don't know the task. It's like XQ receive. I guess you do a task instead of doing this, but I may just do it in my own thing. So GPIO, so you just literally that. So I just need IRAM ATTR added. So the only thing is that obviously this is not going to do anything. So do I set up a queue? Or do I create, I mean, I may have to do a queue and a task if I don't want to block the main. I guess the reason why this one needs a main going on there is because it needs something going on. I don't necessarily need that. So I could actually have a queue create So I could have a const GPIO event queue. I don't know what the type is. It's going to be XQ. GPIO event queue Q handle T. It's actually a static Q handle T Q. Do you need free RTOS queue? That seems simple enough to play with. So I've got a queue, and obviously when I set up this, I'm going to want to do a queue equals x q create. Size of UN32T. 10 size of UN32. I guess it's like what you want to pass in, right? And then you create the task. I'm not going to do a task personally, but I'm going to do whatever this is doing here, which is so connect to OBS is going to happen, and I'm going to do a for. I'm going to do this, and here the XQ receive. And XQ receive is the queue, then the data I'm going to receive, so that's going to be IO num. I'm also going to do IO num, sure, and then port max delay. Okay, and if you receive it, you just printf. I'm going to do the same thing. Received IO num, which is going to be a UN32T IO num. Okay. Last thing that I'm missing is in here I need to send. So XQ send from ISR. Is that a thing? Yeah. Q. You give it a reference to it for some reason. Oh, I guess because it could be anything. And then I'm going to say arg, which is going to be UN32T arg equals 52. I'm going to say and arg. I don't know, because this is not going to live for long, right? I guess that doesn't live for long either. So it just copies it right here and there. So let's see if we can even build this to start with. Now, when I run this, I'm still automatically doing the rest, so we'll have to see how we deal with that. Let's see what I have. So I need 3. I only have 1. It's because I probably put button pin with this at the end, like I do every other month. ESP ENTR flag default doesn't exist. It's just 0. It was defined. It was defined by the thingy. Okay. And it's a UNT, so I can't do a printf. So I need to do long unsigned. Okay. Flash it, and then we'll see. I still have the button in the right place. My loop is infinite, so it should just continue non-stop. It's not heating up, so that's good. Right, the next thing is that this OBS module that I have does not really let you change stuff from the outside. So I'll have to change it to not automatically change the scene. So it's shutting down, but this time it's waiting and nothing's happening. So let me check if my wiring is even correct. What I'm doing here is I am pulling, when I press, I'm pulling it down. Let's try a more cavalier approach where I remove the resistor, and now I'm directly sending, yeah, but because I'm not pulling it up. Now what if I went to back here instead? Is this a bad idea? Nothing's happening. I'm on GPIO 18. Okay, so it's possible there's something that's not registered properly. So you remove a handler. Why do you remove a handler? Hook ISR handler for specific GPIO pin again. I don't know why there's a handler added there. Then it removes it and then it just re-adds it IO0. That sounds a bit odd. GPIO config is seemingly correct. There's a pull-up enable. GPIO mode is input. The mask is going to be the right one. Neg edge, why not? It works. And then there's a queue create. I could put a maybe it's the queue that's not doing the thing properly. So what I could do is instead of doing this here, I could put one here and just call it received simply. Right, to see if it's even calling the ISR thing. And just double checking because it takes a while to do all these things. When I configure this, I install the ISR service. I add a handler on the button pin with this handler, and this is the data that I'm sending. And then I create a queue. We'll see where that goes. Then when I have LEDs and stuff like that, I could just make it so that I also have like a feedback when the OBS scene is changed. Well, let's see. There was something red up there. Ah, handler add GPIO number error. So that would be an issue. So handler add button pin. Button pin is this 18. GPIO output IO0 1 ULL. GPIO num 16. Could it be that you can't have an interrupt on that one? Like, is there someone where you can't do GPIO number error? Don't want to read all this. Yeah, using an invalid pin. Because when I look at this documentation and it says this, like GPIO dump IO configuration, the pin numbers they use, like here for example 18 is there, GPIO 18 is there, and it is 1 ULL with the double thing to the left. 1 ULL double thing to the left button pin. And bit mask is the button pin. It is input, pull up enable, yes. And then the handler add says you can't. I think that the handler expects something else. And I'm going to say button pin num 18 because it used it to yeah, that would make sense. Let me build and flash quickly. I don't like that it's called IDF. Feels like the Israeli army. I got lost there. You see here GPIO input 0. This one is used to shift, so this must be a number, like a low number, and then the pin select is there. But every time you use this GPIO 0 here, then it means it's not using the kind of mask, and the bit mask here. Oh, so only the bit mask is using the other thing. So do I use so button pin is the mask and button pin num, so this is where I'm gonna have a problem here. I need to use num in here. All right, let's try that, see where that goes, and then we'll see. And then I can try like an output LED, and then I can try to do some things like, you know, I could the library. This is where I need to set up the library for OBS a little bit better, so that I could be in a state that's like either sending or receiving. And if you're like in a waiting and receiving stuff, then you could just have like queued requests, but also you could you know, watch for some events and deal with it. So no error this time, but also no clickety click. And what if I actually bring it down instead of up? Ah, crash. That's perfect. The board was called lock acquire generic. Yeah, it crashes again. So what if I had a pull up resistor? Would that change anything? No. Okay, so I get a crash. GPIO ISR handler 221, and when I try to print a number, GPIO ISR handler, do I do a print F in GPIO ISR handler? It does put S. I guess you can't print in a, maybe you can't print in a in an ISR handler. But yeah, it looks like I don't need this, so I mean I can keep the resistor there, sure, why not, it doesn't matter. But it has an internal pull up already, which means that I can actually wire it to I can send it to ground, because that means that when I press the button, it'll just go through the pin through a resistor. I think that's the idea. Right, now I press the button. I should set up the GPIO after. There you go, ESP32. Now I can click it like a madman. I thought it was not the right age, but it seems to be working. So I've got a loop there that's working. So now what I need is to go into obs.h and have something which is going to be void obs client set scene by name. There you go. Struct obs client star client const char star name. Yank that, go to obs.c, put it right there. And obviously I would need to make sure that like if client state is different from state in flight, Like, I know it's not correct. In flight was like for my specific purpose, but this is what I need there. And instead of code, I'm going to do name. I think it's already in there. Like OBS client sends seed by name that already exists, so I might just OBS client set seed by name. OBS client set program seed by name. There you go. I got the client, I got the scene name, everything is fine. So I can just remove this, and I'm gonna yank this one. I don't know if I need to return a number for this one. I'm just gonna kind of void it instead and remove something here. Yank, paste, delete, grab the symbol, yank it, go to hello world, and every time I receive something I should change the scene. End OBS client followed by code. Now I'm gonna put a second button after, and then I can have one button that does something, one button that does something else, and then we can click, 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 click. Ideally, this request, I would have like an internal state that like, oh yeah, this is a request sent, and wait for a response. And when I get anything from OBS, I would pause the response and then see if it's something that is worth looking at. Monitor. Okay. So I've left it to code. I'm identified. I'm going to use my own thing to go to chat. So 3 is chat. So I got some OBS stuff coming in, and I'm going to press the button, and I did not see anything happen there. I wonder if this changed the state. I think it's quite likely. COBS opcode event. I may have received something. So I get an opcode there. If I'm in flight and this is a request response, then I just return 1, which ends the whole thing. So I should probably just not do anything for now. But yeah, I find it odd that I'm not sending this. So if you're not in flight, you don't do that. But are you in flight? Let's print something. It's probably not going to like that because it's going to say, oh, it needs to be a LU. Oh, it didn't care. I mean, oh, no, this was odd because it was not printing it that time when I was clicking the button. So is it stuck in a... Yeah, I'm still in the same pole. That's the problem. It wouldn't exit the OBS loop. So yeah, that's going to be my issue. I need to integrate this loop with another one. I need to have like an event FD that I can send the clicks to. I'll just do that after. For now, I'm going to actually do, say, return 1, which is going to do a shutdown. But if I do shutdown, then I'm not going to be able to do anything. Okay, so this is a problem that I have now. How do I integrate? How do I do that properly? Ah, that's a big problem. Okay, so ESP32 event FD, powerful tool. the same as described, except for has to be called before calling, so register OK. Not supported. EFD support ISR has been added in flag. The flag is required to read and write the event FD in an interrupt handler. Okay. Note that creating an event FD with EFD support would cause interrupt to temporarily disable. Okay, that's fine. So I just need this basically. Right. So how am I going to do that? Do I need to move the pole outside the I think I need to do that. I think I need to move the pole outside and then have this function take care of it on the outside. I think that's what I need. Okay, so let's do that. Let's start thinking about it properly. Okay, I need all of this to be moved outside, which means I need. Okay, let me start creating a structure. It's going to take a little bit more time, but it should be worth it. Struct state. So I'm going to have a struct pole FD FDs 2. Hopefully this is how it works. Okay, pole FD. Okay. Okay, and in my state I'm actually going to put my struct OBS client. I'm putting in there. Sure, why not? And then I'm gonna have an int event FD, and that's pretty much it. And I have right here something that I'm going to remove. Gonna put it there, and this is going to become state at 0. And when I come here, configure GPIO OBS client, configure GPIO is going to get state. And this is going to be state. Now here I'm actually going to say end button pin num to start with, and then the handler doesn't really need anything for now, so I'm fine with that. Like, can I write to the event FD from a handler? That's a bit of a problem, right? Or should I change it and use a queue instead, right? Can I like RTOS queue and pole? How do you integrate those two together? So what if I wanted to do ESP32 select pin? But the thing is, you kind of want to use an ISR. So okay, let me change that. So let me do something else. ESP32 event FD write from ISR. I mean, it's literally what it was reading. Oh, there you go. This flag is required to read and write the event FD in an interrupt handler. So that's all I need. That's all I need. And when I use this, I won't need the queue stuff because I can use something else. That's great. So that's all I need. Configure GPIO state. So before configuring GPIO, I'm actually going to configure my event FD. And for that, I seem to remember that I need to call this first. So I'm going to call this, which I might need something else somewhere else. And then I can do event FD. Event FD. I don't remember exactly, but we'll see. State dot event FD equals this. Now I think it's just flags. Init val and flags. I think init val, I would like to set it to 0 to 1, and flags ESP or EFD support ISR. Okay, now I can do a ESP error check. I think ESP error check is correct. I need to refresh my memory on what ESP error check. Oh, if it's different than ESP, okay, I'm going to change it actually. I might just. Didn't I make one? Was like if it's not negative, if it's check ESP, I don't have one. Okay. Check not neg. If it's less than 0, log e tag with a message, return R. Check not neg is going to be my thing right here. And I'm going to return, no, although I don't know if can be return null when you do a void like this. Like, is it gonna complain? Struct state defined as wrong kind of tag. Can I not use state? Where did it complain? 211. What? App, why not? That's the type anyways, so I don't need to worry about that. There's one thing that's going to be missing there, is here. Okay, at least it's not, you know. Yeah, so button pindom cannot work because it's not a an value. Int d equals. How is it done here when you send it? You do a void star casting of GPIO input. Oh, a raw, okay, not even a pointer. Okay, that's fair enough because you're just sending a number. So ESP VFS event FD register. I think I just need sys event FD. Sys event FD.h. Sys select ESP32 sys event FD. Show me the example, sure. I just need to see the include. Sys select. There you go. ESP VFS event FD, which is probably gonna require a component added. VFS component. Is it literally just called VFS? He has to rebuild a bunch of stuff. Okay, so you're supposed to have a flag in register. There's a config. ESP VFS event config default. Okay, I'm just going to copy this one because I do not necessarily think I need to look into this too much. Hopefully I don't have anything else called config. Okay, check not neg, return value function void. So obviously check not neg is not going to work. I'm going to make check not neg not needing to return anything. It's annoying to not be able to jump through using the LSP, I've got to say. And this does not need no. Okay. I could use VARs, and if none are provided, then it would do it automatically. That's a good idea for another day. Okay, and then connect to OBS is not going to work because it is not the right thing, but state.client should do the job. Set current program state.client. Okay, great. Now I want to go back to OBS and I want to kind of like mimic this. I mean, as in mimic this, I'm just going to literally yoink this entire thing, right? And I'll have to split that into two functions. And this is pretty much this one, right? Connect to OBS. Where is connect to OBS? So just starts. So I really don't need that. Okay, I'll have to change all of that later. Really don't need this. Okay. All right, this is where I need to work on my stuff. So state.client state.client.client.fd, okay, and then client fds at 1.fd equals state.event.fd. Now with event.fd, what type of when I do poll and select, did I just do poll in? I think I need to poll in. Yeah, I'll just do that and see what works. So I'll just copy this, put it there, and 1. Okay. Then I poll the client FDS, which is now state.fds, with the number being 2 and whatever. Then I go through two things, and this is where I need to do, to be honest, I'm going to do this. Let me think. Well, if there's a poll in, I can do this if client at fds at i.fd equals state dot, and client is actually going to be state.client, and the client is not even a pointer. State.client.client fd. If it's client fd, then yeah, you do want to do this. Instead of go to end, you're just going to want to, sure, go to end. I'll just do one right here. which is also where you're going to need your OBS client stop. And state.client. Right, so this is kind of what I need there. And then I have another one, which is going to be this in here. And if instead of that it's state.eventFD, then I need to figure out what type of event that is. And to be honest, right now, the only thing that it could be is just a button. So at that point, I will just do this. Right? And I don't need the queue, and I don't need any of this. Right. But I need to go to obs.h to have a OBS client stop. It's going to be a void. Then I need to go to obs.c to implement the stop. And the stop is going to be fairly easy to do because it's literally what I have here. Paste it there. But it also means that I can remove all of the stuff here, and I should be able to go here and remove the poll thing, and even have sys poll removed. Let's see the errors. Okay, 268 and basically 268. So 268 has a problem with this, which is legitimate. Okay, let's start with those. Then we have client isn't declared in 268 again. Yes, once again, you are correct. State.client. Now, OBS client has no number FDS. Is because these need to go, which also reminds me that this need to go, as well as this and this. Next error, 268 still. There's a lot of error on that 1.9. Handle client read is doesn't exist. Dispatch. What does handle client read do? Literally just the client stuff. Okay. Hopefully that's enough. And obviously I don't have that into OBS client dispatch. And state.client. Right. Okay. Now I am missing something because I need to write to the FD. And to write to the FD, I need to do the FD. I could either keep it as a global, but if I keep it as a global, I can't then know, when I get the handler, I can't just know which one was pressed, unless I create a like a latest event thing. But for now I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to use the global one. So I'm not going to queue. I'm not going to need the queue anymore. What I need is write into global state dot event fd the num and the size of uint32t. I think I need to write 64t. uint64t num equals 1. I'm just gonna write 1. And 1 basically what it does is it's just gonna add to it. I could use flags. I think that's how I'm gonna send the data in the future. But this should be all the things because eventfd is there. Eventfd can unblock the main loop, which is blocked here. Poll is going to be hopefully a system integrated properly, so it does the same thing as the queue. And then if something comes in WebSocket wise, it'll handle it. If something comes in eventfd wise, it'll handle it, but it won't block and do some nasty stuff. Yes, obviously queue does not necessarily need to exist anymore. Okay. Let's see where we get to. I mean, it would be interesting to look into RTOS and just see how you can use a queue and have a main loop based on a queue. And then, but how do you integrate something like the file descriptor, like the read file descriptor? Like, identified, press the button, and a crash. Now, did it change the scene? I can't really know. Can't recurse type int. Oh, so I did get 2 request responses, and then it panicked. And that is an mp-iter next. Can't recurse type int. Oh, so it is my I'm trying to parse a response. Is what I'm doing to do. Like mp find in map obs83. Oh, which is find in map. Okay, great. But what's calling find in map? 199. Yeah, so I get something and I'm trying to find the opcode. Now, I kind of do need to get the opcode, and it's saying that I can't recurse type int. Should I like dump it when it errors? I don't think it was 23. So it was next. Yeah, let me try that then. So the iterator is going to have data in it, isn't it? I don't remember what it is. I did it a while ago. So item has data, which is just a pointer to that data, yeah. And I don't really have a size or whatever, but I'll just use the data, and then I'll just print maybe 8, although that might be a bit too big. But it looks like I'm receiving more stuff, and then the opcode might not be correct. Build and flash, iter data. Okay, so does it mean I need as item? Am I tripping? Oh, that's odd. What would be dot? I guess data is like straight up in there, but that means that item. Oh, yeah, it's not a pointer. It's just I don't want to get the thing at data, I want to get the data itself. Okay. I'm getting loads of request responses, which does not seem correct. It was working before. Is it a state issue? I mean, I guess before it didn't like look at the responses. So what I'm going to do for now is when I'm in flight, I'm not going to bother with the this, like finding there, right? If client state in flight, continue. Well, actually, this is not continuous, so return 0. Yeah, so if you're in flight, like I'm not going to read the opcode if you're in flight, because I'm just going to ignore the responses for now. I'll have to debug that separately, but this is where I would love to be able to run most of that. I think it should be possible for me to have message pack and WebSocket have, at least WebSocket have an abstracted encoding of like SHA-1 and base64, so that I could run it on multiple systems, and I can try to test it. It does seem like do can't recurse type int a lot. So I think it might actually fail. Like in here, oh yeah, it does recurse there. I guess it's possible that this only returns like a number, and I'm like wrongly just going in there. I'm going to start setting up a second button so we can have a bit of a play with that. And then I don't know if I would have enough time to also put the LEDs next to the button so that this just show up. I would have to pause the response from OBS. Like I would pause the event, right? And if the event says, oh, this is the scene that you have, it would turn the LED attached to the scene. Let's see. All right, no error. So I could go to chat. Oh, okay. I know what's going on. I'm spamming OBS and saying like go to code because it is not clearing. I'm not clearing the event FD because I'm not reading it. So here I should first do a uint 64t val read state.event fd into val with a size of uint 64t. Alright, and when this happens, I can set up my second button. There you go. Which will also go to ground. I'm going to remove the external pull-up, and the second button is going to go to 19. Now if 19 is further away, I might swap the buttons later on, but I mean for now I'm just going to keep it the way it is. Alright. Monitor. Now this should let me go to chat. Okay, great. And then now if I click the button, great. So that worked. So if I do chat, click the button, it works. I'm actually going to go for click. See? Click. Click. That's exactly what I wanted. So just to have a bit more fun, let's set up a second button so I can just do it all through the thing. I'm going to start by renaming button. I'm going to rename this. It doesn't let me rename. Button chat pin num. Button chat pin, which is going to go button chat pin, button chat pin, button. So this is where I could send the number, and then I guess I could use the event FD as a flag. I think I'll do that. I think it's simple enough. And in here, basically I want to send 1. Can I initialize event FD with 0 init val? The object contains an unsigned 64-bit integer counter that's maintained by the kernel. This counter is initialized with the value specified in init val, but I worry that if it's initialized to 0, it's going to cause an issue. Let's see. A read returns an 8-byte integer. A read 2 fails with the inval if the is less than that. I remember that like read blocks if the value at the time of reading is 0. If the event FD counter is 0 at the time of the call to read, then the call either blocks until the counter becomes non-zero, or read blocks, or fails with E again if the file script is made non-blocking. So actually I think I can, and I will try, to initialize it with 0, and this is going to be define chat scene chat bit, and I seem to remember that there's a bit 0, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to reuse this bit 0, and code chat bit is bit 1. Okay, great. So from there I can then go here and say I want this first button, which is chat, to be scene chat bit is the value that I'm going to send. And then I'm actually going to do all of this again. Okay, and this is going to be code this time. Well, I could actually just like configure them both at once, because I can say chat pin or button code pin. There you go. And then handler add. I don't know if handler add is not, because it's a number, so these probably need to be both. Now I'm tempted to just say I've got 2 of them. No, I'm going to use the same one. Code and code. At what point arg and num can kind of become the same, because I could literally write the data, but just to be completely clear, I'm going to say arg is data. I'm going to cast it, and then num is going to be a uint 64t cast of arg, which is the one that I'm going to write. And then finally, when I come down here, I can read the value. I can say if val and scene chat bit. Then I do this. Else if val and scene code bit, then I do something very similar, but I do use chat. Now I do want to do a printf of the ZU with the event fd val, so I can debug that quite easily. Let's see what errors I've introduced. Button code pin, okay, that's fair enough. I did not actually create the other two that I need. This one is 19 and button chat pin num, button code pin num, and these two need to become code. Okay, let's start with that. Initialization from void without a cast. Okay, fair enough. uint32t data. Okay, and then scene code bit. That's correct. Did this wrong. Scene code bit. And long unsigned int LLU. Can you do that? Okay. So now my buttons are plugged in. The original one is wired to oh, they're swapped. So the original one is wired to code, or is it? My code button, it doesn't matter like what, they're gonna do the right thing anyways, right? So okay, all right, I'm not getting anything there. Event of deval is 1. I'm not getting anything on the second one, on the second button. Either I wired it incorrectly, which it doesn't seem to be the case. I went to 19. Maybe 19 is something that I'm not supposed to use. And it's possible that 1 was sending me to the thing that I wanted to select. 1 is going to be the first bit, bit 0. Bit 0 is chat, but chat right now goes to code. So I was going to code. So let me just swap those so it's clearer. So the original button goes to chat. Now that second button is not working. I use the same handler for both buttons, and I actually say pin bit mask, chat and code should be pull up enable as input, and I do double config for some reason, which might have been the issue, but let's see if maybe that's not an issue. So you configured here interrupt manager, you see input cell, so you configure 2 at the same time, and you go to add, and you add 2 of them. So yeah, that should be kind of what I need there. So hopefully it was just this I don't want to just changed the double config that caused an issue. 1, that second button is not triggering, so what could cause the issue? 1, maybe, okay. So is the button not working? The button itself is not working. Because when I touch them, they just work. Now the value actually goes quite a bit crazy, so I wonder if I can actually use this, because it gets added. It's not like an OR, it just gets added. So I wonder how I can just do that. I can deal with that. The button is working. So when I make a short to ground, it works. Yeah, I mean, if I touch it, it works. Oh, is it my breadboard that's just failing me? It is my breadboard. This one row is not working. Unless this pin is not plugged in properly. Let me just move it then. I'm gonna have to put it closer. No, it's the same issue. Is it my cable? Okay, I think that's the breadboard. Oh, that may have messed up my... Hey! Now that's nice. I got 2 buttons. I'm not touching my keyboard. And that's my OBS scene switcher over the network, might I say, on the breadboard. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. I could do a little bit more. I'm actually interested in doing a bit more, but I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna do something else that is like not code, but I'm happy with what I have, and yeah, I mean this is the idea, and it goes to actually work. Now there's a few things that are not correct. My strategy around event FD is not correct, because if I press the button, well, there's an interrupt that happens like really fast. The event FD internal counter gets added, right? So if the same event comes in, it actually is going to kind of simulate other events, so that's not correct. I can't use the internal counter of event FD as a bit mask, as a value for bit mask. It works there because it doesn't. I can't click fast enough for it to happen. I could click both buttons at the same time, and they would actually get the value 3, which they would then both trigger. So I need to find something else. Maybe that counter should literally just be add 1 all the time, and it's just how many events you have in a queue, and I accumulate them in a queue in the right order, and then they can be processed. And then I could have like a max of 10 events. That could probably be like the easiest thing to do, but for now it works, which is great. That's using interrupts for the button. It's using poll for like merging both the switching between reading from the WebSocket and using the buttons with event FD, so that's great. Tomorrow, what I would like to do is to make, I think message pack is currently portable, so that's fine, but I would like to make, what is it, WebSocket more portable by having a way to provide what function you should use for SHA-1 and base64. That way I can override those with maybe even a macro, and I can use it on both my machine using OpenSSL, for example, and B64, or an ESP using the integrated one, and then have the OBS file as well be working across both. By removing the polling from within OBS itself, then I actually can have different applications using the OBS client differently, which is even better. But yeah, I want to do that because I want to try to recreate the issue that I had with you can't recurse and whatever. And also, I want to start doing something where I do want to read the response and say, oh, this response type is, or this event type is the scene has twitched, and I want to do something with it. And if I actually try to debug that on the ESP, it's going to take ages. So I want to do some of that on my computer, and then if the code is portable enough, I can just quite easily just share it rather than just doing the copy and paste. So that's going to be a bit of work, and but it's something that I want to do and learn anyways. But before I go, I actually want to do something, because I have this keyboard from the ThinkPad that is inside the Dolch there, and there is this ribbon cable with a bunch of lines on it, and I realized that they're way too small for me to do anything with it, but I'll just see if I can do anything. And I don't think there is any silicon on there. It's literally just, maybe there's like a little one here. Oh, that's for the nub, so it's not even that. But I actually wonder if like the signal coming out of these ribbons could be simple enough to analyze. So I'm gonna try to use my multimeter, because looking at the number of lines that there is, it looks like just a normal keyboard grid where you get like these line and columns, and then when they join together is where something happens. The problem that I have is that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make contact with these. This is really small, so I'm gonna have to go like this, right, and try to pin it down. And first of all, like, is there anything that is already touching? What? Are you kidding me? Why is this not beeping? There's something wrong with this. Okay, I don't know what it was. So let's see if I can pin this one down. Okay. So none of them are actually like connected. But if I really don't have the right setup for doing all this. I want to be able to like measure and have one key pressed at the same time. So I guess I could just do this if I put myself on the key itself. So this is the key A. And the problem is it could be any combination of both of them. That's gonna be really hard to like figure out, because that could be any of them. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do anything with that. Unless I remove the sticker at the back and maybe I'll find the traces and figure out like exactly what's happening. The other thing is that this is the nub here, and I wonder if this is like internal resistance, but that could be interesting to use as like this little nub there to use as a thing. Am I still showing you? Yeah, I don't know if I can really do that. It'd be interesting to see if I can like plug a keyboard straight into like this keyboard straight into the ESP, and then I could just bind some keys, but I don't know if that's going to be realistic. Other than that, I'll try to I've got a bunch of like older and dead electronics, and I'll see if there is any of the inputs that can be used for some of the stuff, and then that's pretty much it. And I also want to at some point make a have an AI model, have a life, and then have a bunch of inputs and outputs, which probably would be controlled through an ESP32. So I'll try to design a bunch of like outputs with lights and movement, and you know, with the servo motors and stuff like that, and a bunch of inputs where maybe it can read like the brightness outside and things like that, and then maybe every 5, 10, 15 minutes I just trigger a cycle of like the LLM, and it gets given all that information and say, you know, this is weather or whatever it is, and just tell it what it wants to do. And then when the day ends, I'm thinking that I would then replace all of the interaction of the day with some kind of like memory of the day. So you don't have all the details of exactly how hot, like the exact degrees that it was outside, but you have a broad idea of like what it was. Anyways, that's a lot of faff for not much. And let me see if it's still working. Yeah. So yeah, I can just do this, and then let's see. I have one connected there, and every time I click, I get the number of messages in and out. That's pretty cool. Anyways, yeah, I'm actually really happy with it. I'll have to try to see if I can make it a portable thing, because right now it is the power through USB. I have other ways to power the thing I mean, it's USB, so I could just plug it to the wall. But yeah, I want to make potentially a case for it and see if I can get better buttons, like keyboard buttons, keyboard switches with LEDs would be great. But we'll see. Anyways, that's it for today. I'm going now. Bye.